President Trump criticizing China after North Korea's test of an intercontinental ballistic missile. The president tweeted, quote, "Trade between China and North Korea grew almost 40% in the first quarter. So much for China working with us. But, hey, we had to give it a try." Joining me now, Congressman Zeldin, Republican from New York. Congressman, obviously, this is going to be a real big topic of discussion at the G20 summit. How do you think this is going to play out?
Well, as we talk about North Korea with these other nations, we still have as our top several options trying to get China to exert a leadership role as the United States presses forward with a principle called DIME, diplomacy, information, military, economics, with military certainly being the last option that we would want to ever get to. We need China and some of these other nations in the region, but especially China, to exert economic pressure on North Korea. So the president's tweet this morning I was not aware that in the first quarter it was up 40%, which is a staggering high number. We were previously optimistic when we saw China stop importing coal, even though they did import a whole lot of coal before they made that announcement. We need China to be going in the other direction, not this direction. So that's a pretty staggering number to see from the first quarter.
To your point, in the first quarter, their coal imports were down 50%. So they did cut off the coal, but they did a whole lot more business with North Korea. And it does underscore a critical point. If China does not step up, I know we want military to be the last option, but by the same token, it feels like everyone's underestimated how fast they can get a missile, an intercontinental ballistic missile, and how long it will take to put a warhead on one of these things. The clock is ticking pretty quickly on this.
Yeah, so two things come to mind. One is we cannot allow North Korea to have the ability to deliver a nuclear warhead to the United States. And every time we see one of these test firing by the North Koreans, it's not just an act of aggression, it's not just provocation or a message being sent. They are testing their technology and making tweaks to improve the technology for what's next. So what we can't allow North Korea to get to is that ability to deliver that nuclear warhead. And as far as China goes, the president there's a carrot and stick. And by stick, I don't mean military. There's a carrot and stick tool available to this president where, he came into the White House and he's trying to build a good relationship with the Chinese in good faith. But the stick is, as we've seen from this president over the course of the last week or so, especially with arms sales, with Taiwan, with sanctions that could be ramped up against Chinese actors, the president certainly has a whole lot of other tools to exert pressure on the Chinese because, as you pointed out, that military is the last option. Right. But as the North Koreans get closer to that point we can't allow them to get to, we need to ramp up all of our other available options, which all across the spectrum of DIME.
Yeah, I also love to see Japan get rid of their pacifist constitution. Maybe that could happen as well. Congressman, I do want to ask you about this. Last hour we did ask Senator Luther Strange about health reform. I'd like you to listen to what he had to say about canceling the August recess and just getting this thing done. Roll tape.
I think we're getting there. I joined with 9 other of my colleagues, sent a letter to the leader, Mitch McConnell, and said we cannot be taking a vacation or a break in August if we haven't done the people's work. Of course, that starts with repeal and replace, and I'm still optimistic that the negotiations are proceeding and we'll have something to vote on when we get back. But if we don't, we've got to work through the recess because taxes are waiting and other key priorities of the president's, and we've got to do our work.
Congressman, your reaction?
Well, the Senate needs to, they're legislating, they're working their legislative will, and hopefully as they get back next week, they can pass something soon so that we could put something on the president's desk by the August recess. What I think would be very difficult would be to get really close to having a final product and then everyone goes home for the August recess just expecting to deal with it after Labor Day. So option A would be to get this on the president's desk by August recess. Option B is if we're really close, that we stay until it gets done.
All right, Congressman Zeldin, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.